I recently dug into the Sorcery of Solomon, subtitled A Guide to the 44 Planetary Pentacles of the Magician King by Sara L. Mastros, and found it to be a compelling, ambitious work that both honors tradition and opens new pathways for the magically inclined. If you're someone working in the realm of grimoire style practice, then this is one of those texts that could quietly shift your paradigm. From the start, Mastros lays a strong foundation. She situates the classic text, the Key of Solomon, as edited by S.L. McGregor Mathers, within its historical, folkloric, and magical context, which is commendable because many grimoires drop you into the seals and symbols without any orientation. In doing so, she makes the material accessible, more user-friendly than many dense and archaic treatments of Solomonic magic. She does also mention that she doesn't want to approach this from a scholarly perspective, but from a more personal perspective, which is great. What stands out is her practical orientation. Mastros retranslates the 44 pentacles or planetary seals and provides commentary, exercises, and clear workflows for working with them. For someone whose practice is strong, this is gold. Instead of just historical or theoretical light, the book gives here's how to work with this pentacle, what it means, how to approach it. According to reviews, she corrects previous errors, addresses Hebrew names, gives new illustrations, and makes the symbols meaningful rather than obscure. Mastros isn't just rehashing old magic for the sake of nostalgia. She treats the tradition as alive, evolving, and capable of adaptation. She discusses methods for approaching spirit relationships, in her case, anchoring with Solomon as a spirit guide, and introduces her SLM method, which is Solomon Logos Magic, which emphasizes a living relationship with the Magician King, sacred names, and ritual practice. However, this is one of those books that are beyond the 101 material, finally. If you're not already comfortable with Hebrew names, planetary correspondences, and some real ritual structure, you may find sections heavy and demanding. Some user reviews mention that the technical level is beyond casual reading. For a light exploration of magic, this would be overkill. But for someone with serious practice, it may be exactly what you're after. Also, despite the accessible framing, you still need to bring some discipline. The exercises aren't just read and do a 2-minute spell. They require study and commitment. The book invites work. In terms of contribution, Mastros fills a gap. Historically, the 44 Pentacles have been available in translation, but rarely with strong practice guides and commentary that bridge the historical, philological, and magical layers. By doing so, she gives the practitioner more tools to move from reading to doing, from symbol to experience. This book offers a model. Take the old, understand it deeply, reinterpret it, and then apply it in new contexts. In short, if you're looking to deepen your magical framework, especially one that merges traditional sorcery with modulated practice, the Sorcery of Solomon is highly recommended and demands your time and mental focus, but rewards with clarity, depth, and practical power. If you're looking for a quick overview or casual reading, it might feel dense, but for a serious practitioner, this is one you'll keep returning to. All right, I just want to have a look to see if I've got any places that are marked for interest. Let's see. Yeah, she said, often in discussions by beginners and sometimes non-beginner magicians online, I see questions like, what is the best spirit I can summon to help me learn Solomonic magic? The answer to this question is surely Solomon, the great magician king whose magic this is. In the SLM method, we work with Solomon as a beloved teacher, guide, ally, and initiator. This is part of the method that she uses, which I think is absolutely fantastic. It's actually a necromantic method of actually contacting the spirit of Solomon himself, calling him forth and asking him to work with you on the pentacles and understand them, but also bring his power, his energy, his experience, his everything to the table, so that when you're actually working with the pentacles, you get Solomon there saying, here we go, let's give you the power. So the method she uses there is absolutely brilliant. All right, let's have a look at the next thing I marked here. Oh, it's a bit of a long one. For this this is about Hebrew names of power. We're in the chapter of Hebrew names of power. For this reason, written charms must be carefully protected. Torah scrolls are reverently wrapped and handled with great ceremony. They are artifacts of immense power. If you tell a Jewish grandmother that you're expecting a string of bad luck, likely the first thing she'll recommend is to check your mezuzah. If a single letter has become worn to the point of illegibility, it is said that the protective shield the mezuzah provides is broken. However, the magic of the name does not immediately dissipate. Rather, it is freed to return to the well of souls from which it sprang, traveling through the vessel of our world to do so. I just want to stop there. This is a very specific thing to, well, not just Hebrew magic, but a lot of other different traditions and cultures. But you'll find this a lot in Hebrew magic. The written word is incredibly powerful, and this is what this is speaking of. If if one of the letters is worn, then it loses its power, and the name, when you activate, when you write the name and you activate it, it becomes a living thing. It becomes a living being, and as soon as it starts to wear, it then dies. Like our bodies wear, we eventually die and move on to, as she calls it, the well of souls. So when we are working with the pentacles, they may be written. They may be, you write them, you score them on metal, you write them on paper or whatever format you're using, but they become living portals, they become living beings, and you treat them as living beings. So very important to note that, I think. Just want to see what else, why I marked this part. For this reason, one traditional Jewish way to use written charms is to write them in water, oh yes, or alcohol-soluble ink, and then rinse the word into water, wine, or other liquid. For a short time, the power of the names infuses the liquid, creating a magic potion which is then drunk, washed with, or used as a reflective surface for scrying. So but obviously, if you're going to use this method, don't use toxic inks. Use non-toxic inks. As she said, water or alcohol based, which will then dissolve in the water. So what you do is write it on the parchment or whatever material you're using. Make sure, if you're using metals, you're going to put it in the water and you're going to drink it afterwards. Make sure that you're not poisoning the water. Yeah, very important. Don't poison the water because you're going to be drinking it. But this is taking the power into the body. So yeah, it's just you write the pentacle on the paper with a non-toxic ink. You then put it in the water and it dissolves into the water. That it therefore enters and imbues the power into the water, and then you consume it. You take it in. Great method. These are all these little bits and bobs that are very valuable once we know them and start working with them. I love this bit. I didn't know this before, and I work with Pan a lot. I love Pan. I think he's brilliant. It's just my god. And this part about Shaddai, I loved. So Shaddai as god of the wilderness, which it gets from the Akkadian Shadu, or dweller in the mountains, which it relates to the Hebrew, that's the Hebrew word, which means field or plains. It explains any El Shaddai is therefore a god of the wilderness and can be connected with the iconographical motif of the Lord of the animals. I don't fully buy that as an etymology, but Shaddai unquestionably has a horn goddess vibe. I love that because that relates to Pan for me. So that's become a very big part of this whole thing for me. thought it was brilliant. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing, obviously. It's a very lengthy process and an explanation of casting the circle itself. Now, this isn't your typical circle casting where you're going to call the quarters and things like that. This is actually holding your hands. I'm actually not going to tell you. I think you should buy the book if you want to find out. But it's basically spinning the energy into the pentacle itself, and you spin the energy, and therefore you spin the pentacle open. And this is the method that's used. If I tell you, it's going to be a complete giveaway, which is quite unfair. Right, that's it for all of my little markings and stuff. Okay, so that brings us to the end of that. Obviously, the link is in the description to go and buy the book on Amazon. I do appreciate it. It's an affiliate link. I do get a small commission. And I thank you for purchasing through my links, because then I go and buy more books to review. All right, that's the end of this review. Thank you very much. Have a good one. Cheers for now. Bye-bye.